evening, ladies and gentlemen. Or should I say good morning next week? And sorry for the tardiness today, but it seems like anything that could go wrong just did. Murphy is alive and well and sitting on my shoulder right here. I don't know if you can see Murphy there, but he is there. In any case, welcome to Beer Blather 193, Ripping the Whirlwind, which we're going to get into in just a moment. And important thing to say, and I know we're late and all that jazz, and here I am reminding you, but if you're new to this show, we're coming out on YouTube, where we're going to be for just a few minutes, and then we're moving out. Twitter, where we don't care how long we stay, and here, which is our home for our videos and where you can find the full program every time. And we appreciate your contributions to the channel, whether it be by clicking on the dollar sign and making a contribution in the chat, clicking on support and making a contribution to the channel, going to quadverum.com/support us and support both this channel and SQV. And sorry, it's tiresome, but at least it's not NPR. You can always join this channel. It's only about $2.50 per week, and you can help support all of the programs. And having said that, this is Saul Montes-Bradley, the largest human repository of useless information, this time from the peachy state. I got Georgia on my mind. Thomas, I'm in Georgia.
Good Lord, I've never been there.
And I'm sitting under the shade of Stacey Abrams, because as long as she's in the state, wherever you are, she's casting a shadow over you. And this guy over here is Thomas Wictor, the only living expert in World War I flamethrowers and so many more stuff that we're going to get in today from Nazifornia. And by the way, now that I say Nazifornia, I remember there we go. Ich bin in. And it's every day that passes, Thomas, and this is related to what we are going to be discussing in a moment, but every day that passes, I am more determined than ever that Israel should not cede an inch.
Oh, there's no reason to.
No, and every reason not to.
Well, okay.
The hope of civilization is in their hands.
No, I mean we're going to be talking about reaping the whirlwind, which is a Bible quote. It's let's see, what did I have it marked here? It's Hosea 8:7, and it says, "For they have sown the wind, and they shall reap the whirlwind," meaning, you sow seeds, you throw seeds around, and then as a result, they're getting the whirlwind, which means it's all blown up in their faces. Another way of putting it would be the monster they created is out of control. That's what we're going to be talking about. But as always, our analysts got everything wrong. The main problem is that all the mainstream media has been interviewing people who have no bloody idea what they're talking about. So they get some guy who's a combat veteran from the Battle of Fallujah in 2004, and he goes, "Oh, it's going to be a bloodbath." Blah, 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 blah. There's a Navy SEAL who's he's one of these men guys, he's an influencer. He talks about discipline. He's got a bald head. He's very in shape. And he said that the Israelis need to stop because all the bad guys are underground and they're not killing any of them. They're just killing civilians. Well,
they already killed about 5,000 of them. So,
Well, this is the thing, that this guy fought in the Battle of Ramadi in 2006, and he was up against about 1,000 Al-Qaeda terrorists who had no tunnels. And so it's like, thank you for your service, and now shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. And as a matter of fact, the Israelis are making progress at a much greater rate than anybody, except for me, expected. And I learned today. Now, you know what I did in 2014. I learned today that the Israelis got a hell of a lot of their pre-war intelligence by watching Palestinian social media and Hamas propaganda. Hamas showing off their tunnels helped the Israelis figure out how to destroy them.
Brilliant little creepers, aren't they?
Yeah. In the Palestinian social media, just the videos shot with, these things, they helped the Israelis blow the hell out of the terrorists. And everyone was thinking that the Israelis were going to go down in the tunnel and recreate what our tunnel rats did in the Vietnam War 50 years ago. They're not going
but no. Everybody's seen that already.
Yeah,
we've seen that movie.
They're sending in robots, and the robots are white. They've got something called the sponge bomb that I think we talked about. It releases this foam at an exponential rate, and then the foam instantly hardens on it hardens within 4 seconds of touching the air. So they're filling all the tunnels with foam, and whoever's in them gets caught in the foam like a mosquito in amber from 20 million years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe the Pompeii people in the
exactly,
lava.
Yeah. So the corpses will rot away, and there'll be this empty space that the Israelis can someday fill with resin, and then have sculptures of Palestinian terrorists or whatever. But it's hard fighting, but like you said, they've killed over 5,000. In 2014, the figure was they had 5,000 active combatants and about 10,000 support guys.
Yep.
Who all were 100 pounds overweight, and they would laboriously shoot off mortars or rockets. I don't know if you remember an Indian news channel filmed them firing a rocket from right next to one of the luxury hotels. And those guys were all 100 pounds overweight. And they're wiping out Hamas's commanders, and Hamas is entirely centrally controlled. Those brave terrorists, as a lot of people would think, they have no individual initiative whatsoever.
No, on the contrary, if they try to exercise any kind of individuality, they get a few grams of lead in the head.
Exactly. So
they're not supposed to.
No, and the Israelis their armed forces are built around individual initiative, and they're again. Everyone said, "Oh, they can't use tanks in urban warfare." They're using tanks in urban warfare. Everything that the so-called experts said is wrong, just like it's wrong in the Ukrainian war. Just a real quick detour into there. Everybody, the mainstream media here in the West is, support for Ukraine is dried up. The Europeans are announcing weapons deals that are bigger than anything we've given the Ukrainians. And we're going to have a period of posing and flexing where the Republicans will say, no more money, no more money, no more money. And then they'll quietly keep on the funding. That Joe Biden is taking credit for something the Israelis were already doing before,
no,
which is
he's taking credit from somebody else's work. He's never done that before.
Biden says he talked
every other week.
He talked the Israelis into 4-hour daily pauses.
Oh, bullshit.
The Israelis were doing that from the very beginning.
They've been doing of course they don't call it a pause. They
Yeah.
call it a humanitarian corridor. And
Yeah.
they have been opening, because it's not just pausing. The Israelis have used IDF soldiers to clear Hamas roadblocks,
Yeah.
to guard the civilians and guarantee their safe passage to the south while fighting Hamas in the process. And they've been doing that practically since the second week, when it became obvious that Hamas was determined not to let people move south.
Okay. The Israelis have embedded these civilian officials who speak fluent Arabic with
Yes.
the troops, and they released a phone call today from Shifa Hospital where they were speaking to doctors, and they were arranging evacuation plans for the medical staff, for the people hooked up to oxygen, for the babies, all of that. The doctors were very calm, and the only thing that the Israeli said, he said, now I'm going to say something really important, so make sure you're paying close attention. Everybody has to have nothing in their hands, and if possible, if they have something white that they can wear, that's very, very important. And the Shifa hospital doctor, he wasn't screaming, you murderous Jew. He was very professional. He's very calm, and this is the reality of the situation. But just really quick, switching into Ukraine for a second, the Republicans, after they've milked this for as much as they can, they will continue funding the Ukrainian war,
Oh, yeah.
Russia-Ukraine war, but they'll take credit for something the Ukrainians were always already doing, which is to prevent corruption as
They're almost there. They're almost there.
the only corruption that's happened has been Ukrainians stealing Ukrainian funds.
Yes.
That's it.
And in some cases, the biggest one was the recruitment officers
Yes,
who were stealing funds from the people themselves. It's like collecting money not to call you, that kind of thing.
exactly.
And they're all being canned.
Yeah.
And I pity them, because I have a feeling that the patriotic Ukrainians are not going to look at them with any kind of love lost.
Well, this is the thing. There's a lie out there that the Ukrainians are stealing aid money from Europe and the United
Oh,
States.
that's bullshit.
It's a lie.
That's bullshit on steroids.
Yeah.
And by the way, nobody's giving Ukrainians tons of cash.
No.
There is something about this, just as the usual cretins were promoting this idea, that corruption in Ukraine and all that jazz. Ursula von der Leyen, the president of the European Union, essentially, went to Ukraine, went to Kyiv, spent some time with Zelensky, and announced that Ukraine had completed 90% of what it was required to do by the EU in order to comply with the prerequisites for membership.
Yeah.
And that included a governance and fighting corruption. And according to van der Leyen, they have successfully virtually eliminated corruption from their government, something that, for instance, Moldova hasn't done.
Something that Spain hasn't done.
Wow. And something that we are in the process of undoing, because, in some of our federal agencies, we have Mexican corruption now.
Well, that's the thing. Like we're in no position to call anyone corrupt.
No. But the point is that at the very moment they are talking about corruption in Ukraine, comes the European Union and says Ukraine has made its goals to clear itself of corruption, and we're going to speed up their joining the European Union.
Yeah. No, and look who the people on our side are holding up as the great truth teller about Ukrainian corruption. Vivek Ramaswamy.
God, a corrupt little fuck,
Yeah.
a fraudster, a guy who, oh God, made a shitload of money peddling crap he knew. Remember the pharmaceutical company
Yeah.
where he announced the cure? I don't know, for the ingrown nail or whatever the fuck it was, and it promoted this drug that had already failed. But he convinced somebody to do another trial and peddled the company based on the imminent success of that trial, pocketed a shitload of money,
Yeah, he cashed out.
cashed out, and then, of course, the thing flopped. And he literally defrauded a lot of people by selling it's like a Woody Woodpecker version of Elizabeth Holmes.
Well, I mean, okay, Ramaswamy is a great manipulator of weak-minded people, because they're the last debate, they're like, he really gave it to Nikki Haley, and it's like, Ramaswamy at 4% and Nikki Haley at 3.7%. Boy, these are people we really need to like spend our time. I mean, Breitbart gave the actor Robert Davi a whole. I mean, he was allowed to post an entire essay about how we should really give Ramaswamy a second look, because he's really out there, telling the truth, and it's just like, he's at 4%.
He's a fucking liar.
Well, also, he doesn't matter.
I watched because you told me yesterday that you had seen at least part of this. His declarations on Ukraine.
Wasn't that amazing?
And by God, if he's not collecting a check from the GRU, he should call them and get it.
No, if Ramaswamy,
he spewed Russian propaganda with abandon, because we should be doing this because Zelensky is a Nazi. Zelensky is a fucking Jew, you little shit.
Yeah, and a comedian in cargo pants. I mean, that's a non sequitur. It's like he's doing a great job of leading you. I mean.
And by the way, he sounds like the fucking leaptards when they were talking about Ronald Reagan as an actor who shared billing with a monkey. By the way, it wasn't a monkey; it was a chimpanzee. But
it was a chimp. I mean, this is sure.
But you remember how they poo-pooed Reagan because he's nothing but an actor who shared billing with a chimp.
Yeah.
So fucking what? He was the best president we had this century, or rather, in 100 years.
What's Ramaswamy? I mean, if we want to get personal, I mean,
he's a class clown.
Okay, I saw something today that I put on a level with that. It was a pro-Palestinian march, and they had a banner that was as wide as the street, and it said, "Reproductive freedom means free Palestine. Reproductive justice means free Palestine." And that's one of those, that's like, what the hell does that even mean? Like, what does that mean?
Maybe we should abort Hamas.
I mean, never mind that. Yeah. Somebody said today, he was asked what he thought about, gays for Palestine. And he said, well, the funny thing is that there aren't enough tall buildings in Gaza to throw them off of, because
but I believe that we should contribute generously to Gays for Palestine and buy them all tickets to Gaza.
Well, see, this is what's so bizarre about all of this. These people they would be caught dead there if they went there, but they're never going to go there. I mean, they have no intention of ever going there. And to attack Zelensky as a comedian wearing cargo pants, I mean, it's the attack of it's an attack made for imbeciles. And
by the way, somebody's asking, are you guys still on YouTube? We've been there for 20 minutes. Do you think it's enough?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Bye, YouTube. Remember, right there in the description, you have the link to bring you to Odyssey and continue watching this show. Come on, it's 2 clicks. Are you that lazy? We're out of here.
No, it's